Good morning, great Americans. It's another great American video from Kentucky. It is April 7th, 2025. This is one of my old style videos, and I say old style because when I first started making videos, I would just, I'd be perusing social media and I would see something that popped out, and I would immediately drink a big giant shot of coffee, hook up the camera, and start talking. No script. Well, I never have a script really, and I have no script now. But I mean, I would just something would hit me, and I felt the need to talk about it, and so it wasn't often. It was never on any broad subject, right? It was just something that happened to pop at the time, and it hit me with an idea. Well, that's what happened today. I mean, I've made a couple recent videos about the just I mean the Democrats going nuts. I mean, their insanity level, their Trump derangement syndrome is now at criminal levels now with their terrorist acts on Tesla. And, people are getting arrested they're not just vandalizing cars. There was a story in the news about one vandal threw a 2 pound rock, like a big stone, into the window of a Tesla, crashed through, and a pregnant woman had to go to the hospital. This is not. It's this is anyway. That's not what this is about. I recently made a few videos about that, right? And so I was watching the old video this morning of uh, Donald Trump appearing on the Gutfeld show. And Gutfeld asked Trump a very interesting question. He said, he talked about how he gets mad at all kinds of little stuff that get him angry during the day, and how Trump seems to be just so smooth and easy. This was right after Trump had been shot, right? And Trump's just talking about it matter of factly, and he's actually a little humorous about it, makes some funny jokes and stuff. And Gutfeld's like, "How do you process this so calmly?" And Trump just says, "Well, do I have a choice? I don't really have a choice. What else am I going to do?" And it started me thinking, yeah, what else are you going to do? What is your choice? The only other choice is to lose your mind and go nuts, but that's not really a choice, right? But that's what the Democrats were doing. And it clicked, and all of a sudden, several dots just connected themselves in my brain. Now, you may think, oh, we've already heard this before, but have you really connected these dots and given this much thought? In the old days, and sadly, there's a bunch of young people today who don't even understand what it was like in the old days. But in the old days, and for me, the old days are like the 60s, the 70s. You have an election, you have a contest, two candidates, the winner wins, and then the country is supposed to come together and say, well, even though I didn't vote for this guy, I hope he succeeds because I want the country to succeed. That's the American way, right? So that's one dot. And here's the next dot is Trump telling Gutfeld about how he calmly reacts to these assassination attempts, and he's like, well, what else am I going to do? What can I do? I mean, and I'm saying, what can he do? Nothing. I mean, you have to take him because you can't wave a magic wand and make it happen all over again and catch the guy ahead of time. You can't do anything. What's past is past. It's history, right? What are you going to do? I mean, if he lost his mind and just started going berserk, then that would just hurt him. It would certainly wouldn't hurt the shooter. And then now I go to the third dot, and I'm thinking about the recent videos I made, and I'm thinking, but wait a minute, that's exactly what the Democrats and the left are doing. They're not following the traditional American good sportsmanship of there were two men in a fair contest election. one person won, and there you go. Stand behind him now and make him succeed. No. And how are they taking the loss in stride? Because again, they cannot go back in time and wave a magic wand and change the election, but they're not taking it in stride. They're reacting exactly the way Trump said he cannot react, which is they're going berserk. They cannot process. And so that brought me to another dot that I'm connecting now to all of this. Remember how it was very popular in the news not too long ago, and I guess it's still going on, that schools are not teaching kids how to really be winners and losers in society and understanding that there are winners and losers. You know how they give every kid gets a trophy, every kid gets an A, or some schools, right, they stopped giving out grades, right? They didn't want a kid to feel bad because he failed, so there was no A, B, C, D, no grades, just everyone's the same. Very communist, right? They cannot process loss. They don't know how to process losing or being told that they're wrong or something like that. And it struck me, and that's why I'm making these videos. Though that group of people have now become 18-year-olds, although we see a lot, I can't explain the old people. That one defies me, why there's old people caught up in these terrorist attacks, because they got no excuse. But these younger people who have now become adults, right? They're now 18, 19, 20, 21. They were never taught to process the idea that there's winners and losers, right? And if you lose, you have to be a good sportsman, a good sport about it. And if you're a good American, you're going to support your president. Because him succeeding means we all succeed. So you may say, well, Trump's tariffs are bullshit. Well, okay, but he won. So let him try and support him, and who knows, maybe it'll work. And if it works, we all win. But see, the left and the Democrats are not processing. They're not processing. It reminds me of one of those Star Trek episodes where there's like some crazy gone mad computer is taking over the place, right? And they're trying to shut it down, so they give it a problem that it cannot solve, right? And it's sitting there going, processing. And then the smoke starts coming out the ears, right? And it starts turning red and catching on fire because it can't process, right? And it's kind of funny. But that's actually what's happening to Democrats. They can't process. They don't know what it means to be a good American and to say, oh, well, we lost, you won. Let's shake hands and let's see if he can succeed. Maybe he's right about the tariffs, right? Maybe he's right about whatever, right? If he succeeds and it turns out he was right, then we're all going to benefit. There'll be more jobs, right? There'll be a better way. But see, they can't do that. They can't fathom losing. Their schools and their teachers were so busy telling them that they are all winners, that they can't process losing. Their schools are so busy telling them that they are whatever they think they are. You're a boy, you're a girl, you're a cat, you're a dog. You have 25 pronouns that it's not true. They're coming to grips with reality that you are what you are, and you are in the situation that you're in, and it isn't whatever you feel. So they cannot process, and that's part of what we see going on. At least that explains like the younger people going crazy. And some of these old people, who knows? When I saw a news clip of an old guy, right, old white-haired guy like me, getting out, literally stopping in the middle of a freeway and getting out to attack the guy that he now has jammed up behind him because he's driving a Tesla. I can't explain what's up with someone like that. I guess he's just retarded or just so pathetically, ignorantly stupid. You look at an old person and sometimes you think just because they're old and they're white haired and stuff like that they should know better. But no, because if you see someone today who's just a total ignorant retard, someday they're going to be old and they're going to have white hair. And you're going to think that they should know what they're doing, but they're not. They're just an old, ignorant retard. Well, so, I mean, and I guess that's what explains the old people who are engaged in these terrorist acts. But the young people, I really think a lot of it has to do with they were not taught to process. Their parents failed them. Their parents never taught them good sportsmanship, the American ethic of shaking hands when an election is over and supporting your president, irregardless of whether you agree with all the issues. But you want to support him because if he's right, especially on the economy. Now I can understand that you're not going to, pro-life, pro-choice. You're not going to flip on that just because you lost the election, and that I get that. But economic things, right? Jobs, economy, trade, taxes, this kind of stuff, right? It's not really moral, right? We should, left and right should have the same goal when it comes to these policies. And that goal should be a great economy and lots of good jobs for America. And so they're both looking for the same goal. They just have different methodology about it. So you should be rooting for his success. You should be saying to yourself, well, this is a Democrat who loses this election should be saying to themselves, well, I didn't vote for him. I don't really like him, but let's see if he's right. If we support him, he might have more of a chance of succeeding than if we fight against him. But see, they can't process it that way. They can't do it. They can't do it. I'm going to give you here's a little anecdote too to go along with this. Another little dot to connect. I was watching the Speaker of the House. I already forgot what his name was. Speaker of the House was on Fox and Friends Sunday. And one of the ladies asked him a very interesting question. And she said that when Biden was president and Biden was giving the speech, when Biden actually talked, the few times that he actually said some good things that were good for America, that the speaker would stand up, stand up and applaud. That's what you do. Is everybody, the whole left and right, they all stand up and applaud when there's something good and positive to celebrate, like some war hero is there as a guest or something like that, right? Somebody, what was that airline pilot who saved everyone's lives because he landed the plane in the New York water? Remember that? You get up and you applaud something like that because that transcends politics, right? So she asked the speaker, she goes, why is it that you were able to stand up and applaud when when Biden said something good, but the Democrats, when Trump gave his speech, they could not stand up and applaud, even when he said something so good, like he was acknowledging the young kid, the young kid who wanted to be the Secret Service agent, right? And and people who have succeeded in various things, or sports, whatever. When he talked about heroes and winners and great American stories, the left could not get up and applaud. You see, they have lost the ability to process. Their Trump derangement syndrome runs so deep, and their hate runs so deep that they cannot process. And when you cannot process, it, whatever it is that you cannot process is going to come out of you somehow. You have to get it out of you, or else I guess you go insane. And and what are they doing? They're burning down factories. They're attacking people in the streets. Their mobs are it just they've lost their mind. They've become criminal. It's criminal insanity. That's the result. And that's what we see in the left today. When you see all these factories getting burned down and Tesla's getting attacked, you have Democrat Congress people like that filthy, disgusting woman. I can't remember what her name is. She said to take out Elon Musk. Why is she not in jail for saying that? I don't know. She's yelling about white people on a congressional committee. How is that allowed? It's pure racism and hate and violence coming out of the mouth of a congressperson. This is the left. They cannot process. They have lost their minds. And a good deal of the blame rests on fake news, because fake news for what is it? It's like over 8 years now since Trump got elected in 2016. It's now been over 8 years that fake news, think about that. That's like the life of a young person in high school. This is all they've heard. For 8 years, fake news has been driving home lies and hate and fake news and propaganda about Trump's a fascist, Trump is Hitler, Trump is going to destroy democracy, Trump is going to start a war, Trump is secretly colluding with Russia, Trump is going to kill all the transgenders, Trump is going to kill all the homosexuals. These insane lies have been coming out of the mouths of people on the most disgusting fake news networks like MSNBC and CNN, and then it comes out of the mouths of the Democrats too, and then the fake news networks report it. So they have a little circle jerk going on there where both of them tell the same lies and they both support each other. It's like a little and now imagine you're a kid. Imagine this. You're a kid, it's 2016, and you are a freshman in high school. And maybe you're just now starting to learn about, or maybe you're just now starting to be interested in politics and stuff like that. You're a freshman in high school. It's 2016. Now, today, it is 2025. So let's say you're a 15, 16, 17. So let's say you're 15 years old, freshman in high school, Trump got elected, and you're hearing that he's a danger to democracy and he's a fascist and blah, blah, blah. You're 15 and you're a freshman. Now, 9 years later, what are you? You're 24 years old. You have been voting for 6 years. You theoretically may have just graduated college, possibly, or maybe you went for 4 years, or you're in the workforce or something. You're 24. You could be doing anything. You might still be in college, or maybe you got a job now, or maybe you joined the military or whatever. You're 24 years old, and ever since you've been 15, all you've heard on the news is that Trump is Hitler. Trump is a danger to democracy. He's a fascist. He's going to start a war. He's going to kill all these people. He's a Nazi sympathizer. All this shit, right? And now he's elected president. What are you going to think? Now, I don't absolve these people of their personal responsibility, because if you have any intelligence, you should know that this stuff is a load of bullshit. And there's plenty of smart young people out there who know that this is a load of bullshit. Thank God. Thank God we got good, smart kids who were brought up in good houses who know. But look, there's plenty who don't. There's plenty of kids who are sort of left on their own. Their parent, I mean, all kinds of things. Bad parents. So maybe in some homes there's bad parents, drug addict parents, drunken parents, and the kids don't know any better. Or maybe in some super rich homes, there's parents who are so caught up in their being the number one lawyer and the number one doctor, that they're flying all over the place and they never see their kid. And so they don't raise the kid and teach the kid. And so the kid is left to his own devices to figure, who knows? There can be a range of reasons, but it's understandable that these kids are literally brainwashed. Oh, and it doesn't end there. What about what they've been learning in school all this time? These are kids for their entire life, or their entire thinking life, or, age of reason life, have been told that it's okay to choose your own pronoun, and that transgenders are normal, and that homosexuals are normal. And now you're 25, you're 24 years old, and here comes this guy Trump, the Nazi, and he's banning transgenders. You've got to be thinking he's a horrible person. The left has literally destroyed generations of Americans. I don't know how else to say it. Democrats and the left, this ungodly, evil cabal of fake news and leftists and Democrats and all this stuff, have literally destroyed and brainwashed the minds and the lives of young people. We now have a generation of people who don't even know truth from lie and right from wrong. God help us. I mean, this generation, I don't know. If we get a few more generations like that, we really are through. So there you go. But they can't process. They don't know right from wrong. They weren't learned to process. They don't know how to lose with grace and support the other side. They've gone insane. They've gone insane, and we got to turn that around. If we get a few more generations like that at different stratas of society, then we really will be through. We can barely take this one that we have. So that's the Monday Muse. I never know how to pronounce that. Muse, Muse, I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Please check out my recent videos. Please check out my recent articles on the Substack page. Please share the video, and I will see you in the next great American video. Adios, muchachos.